Las Vegas Review-Journal. Sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.
And what you're getting more out of perhaps than in the first 3 rounds on the power play.
Yeah, I mean, our power play this year has been a challenge for us. We're trying to implement some different things from previous years, so that took a while. And then, Mark Stone's a big part of that. He missed half the year, so you're working around that, Jack. That's not excuses, but you're starting different things then for different people's strengths. So we've kind of settled here in on Marcia so being on his strong side elbow as opposed to the one-timer, which he's played a lot with the second group a lot of the year. And Puck seems to be finding him better, and we're having him jack, like the second goal, rotate, not maybe design a side for them. So that's helped our movement. I think we understand Florida how they're trying to kill their D. Do get away from the front of that, add a little more of a diamond coverage so you can get interior, and that's the Stone goal. Even though it's 4-on-3, we find we can get into those pockets as well. So and it comes down to execution and finishing some plays, right? So we're on a bit of a roll that way. You're not going to get 6 goals in 3 games very often on the power play. We understand that. I don't think one was an empty netter, but in general, a couple of them were one was garbage time the other night. But we've tried to be more efficient on it, knowing that we're going to get opportunities. One thing Florida has done is taken minor penalties throughout the whole playoffs. It's not just us. They play a physical game, so we have to make sure we were ready for it. So I think we're a little more maybe prepared than previous series. You're always trying to be good in special teams, but we knew we would have some, and it was very important for us to get it going because it's been kind of a little inconsistent throughout the playoffs.
Right side, 4th row.
Hey, Bruce, Gary Lawless, Vegas Golden Knights. In each series, you've been able to grow your game, and finally, like Game 5 versus Winnipeg, and in particular Game 6 versus Edmonton, and then Dallas, you've gotten to a real great level of execution. Are you building towards that in this series? Like, do you think you still have another gear to give in terms of your game?
Yeah, we're building towards it. We liked our game last night. Didn't work out for us. I mean, it could have went either way. We were right there till the end. I thought we played smart, shutdown hockey in the third period and tried to extend the lead. That's what we try to do when we have the lead. We don't want to go into a shell. Discipline, take care of the puck, attack when you can. We did. We didn't finish some plays, and they did with the goalie out. So give them credit. And over time, like I said, their first shot went in. So I thought we were playing the right way. Had an opportunity in the power play and didn't get it done. So. But if you go back to the previous year, I'd go to Edmonton Game 5 and 6. I thought we were good late. Winnipeg, obviously, we grew. Dallas, we had some good games at the start. They could have went either way, but Games 3 and 6 were obviously good for us. And the games in between weren't bad. We just didn't win them. And I think we've progressively got better. I think Game 2 here, pucks did go in. Yesterday we had some similar opportunities that didn't go in, so it's going to happen. You're playing against a really good goaltender and a good hockey team, so that's a little bit of how it goes. So we're not going to beat ourselves up over yesterday's game. We're going to do what we've always done. We're going to look at where we can get better and keep growing our game and hopefully be better in Game 4. And this is the time of year you have to be better each game. And we've seen it now, right? So is Florida probably, what their best game looks like, or close to it. We'd still like to think we do have another gear but we saw it in Dallas a little bit, somewhat in Edmonton. So I think our guys are familiar with it, and that's what's made us successful. I think we can get back to it quickly because we've seen what it looks like, and that's going to be the challenge for us in Game 4.
Right side, front row.
Steve Barnaway, Associated Press. Following up on Gary's question, just how do you balance the knowing how well you guys have played through 3 games and kind of the confidence of that with maybe needing to make an adjustment or 2 here along the way?
Well, the guys, we have a mutual respect, coaching staff versus experienced team, and I think they'll have an idea that we'll come in with an idea or 2. Let's talk about it and see how we can implement it and not get away from our game. I mean, when you get this far, neither team wants to stray too far from what they've done because they've both been successful, and we certainly feel the first 3 games has been way more good than bad. So I don't think it'll be a tough sell at all. The guys know what's at stake, and it'll be predominantly what we've been doing, 90% of how we want to play. First period execution yesterday wasn't as good as it's been, and some of that might be coming across country, and some of that might be their pressure playing a home game, for the first time in the finals, where we have to deal with some of those intangibles. So then you get to your game. So our guys will be fine with that, and we're not going to change a lot. We don't need to. But obviously, when every game, win or lose, we're still looking at a few things that we can do better. And their top line we're all over the score sheet. So that's the first area we'll look at. Bobrovsky making big saves. I mean, we just got to keep shooting, right? There's not a whole lot you can change there. The one thing we did better, I think, was get traffic in front of them in the previous game. So we'll revisit that as well.
Left side, front row.
Ben Goetz, Las Vegas Journal. Bruce, you just touched on their top line kind of being all over the score sheet. I guess what needs to change next game against the Tkachuk line?
Well, in the first goal, we got a little aggressive on the wall. We know that Tkachuk likes to bring people to you and get the puck into the middle of the ice. So that to me is a simple fix. We got away from our D-zone coverage in that one, and Montour's coming down the gut, right? So we've done a good job keeping those shots to the outside and not over pursuing. We had a player in position to take care of Tkachuk, and we doubled, and it didn't work out. The 6-on-5, we just got to be closer to the front of the net. It's the third goal we've given up in the playoffs, in that situation. So we just, again, a mistake that we made that will reinforce about staying home. The overtime goal, I mean, we had numbers back. It's a shot that found its way in. It's a shot we give up a lot. So that one I'm not going to overanalyze, and they make a play and they win. So that's a little bit. Other than that, though, I don't think it was flurry after flurry or sustained pressure, so I thought we did a good job against a lot of their guys last night. But again, good players find ways to make plays, and sometimes you don't need a lot of chances. And I guess it was their turn to have pucks go in, and we had a little bit of that in the first two games. So, and that's how I look at it.
Left side, second row.
Hi, Helene Elliott from the LA Times. Just wanted to ask you a little bit about Jonathan Quick and the luxury of having a goaltender with such credentials and such experience and what he has brought, particularly during the playoffs.
Yeah, well, the playoffs, unfortunately, hasn't got a start. But Aiden Hill could better answer that question. Brossois, what he means to them in terms of the support or the backup needs to give the starter, especially a guy with his experience. To me, he's been outstanding every time I've talked to him. And in practice, if he's not the hardest working guy, he's close. He wants to stay on top of his game in case he does get an opportunity to get into the net. So that part's been terrific. Just his work ethic, leading by example. I hear him in the locker room doing his part, relaying experiences and supporting the team. So that's the challenge in front of him, a backup, right? You got to be a bit of a cheerleader in that regard, and a support sort of sounding board for the guy that's playing every night, and he's done all those things. So I can't say enough good things about him. I mean, I'll go back to the season when he helped us win games to get to the position we were in, which is win the Pacific Division. He helped us a lot. So nothing but good from Jonathan, and I don't see that changing.
Right side, up front.
Nick Kotznick at NHL.com, and as much detail as you're willing to give, just what's your process today? Is everybody away from the rink? Do you meet? How long? Do you want guys thinking about hockey? Do you want them getting away?
Typically, if we're going to have an off day, we want a sort of mental reset. Obviously, as I said, everyone's got a few bumps and bruises you take care of. So we're not practicing today. We'll have a team meeting. Guys will stretch a little bit, get the necessary assistance from the medical team, whoever needs it. We're not doing video today. We'll reattack that stuff tomorrow morning, get back into, okay, now let's focus on the details. Today's, like I said, a reset day. Basically get away from the rink a little bit. It's hard to, in the Stanley Cup Final, you're never going to completely get away from it, but we're not going to talk Florida Panthers today with the guys. Let's save that for tomorrow.
We have time for two more questions. Right side, back row.
Kristen Shelton with ESPN. I'm just going back to the Dallas series and what you were saying about seeing some of the best game, that the team has. What does that look like to you, and how do you feel like that can translate into Game 4 now that you kind of know the atmosphere and what is coming in Florida?
Well, if you saw the game, it's exactly what your eyes saw, to be honest. I'm not trying to be simple, but we got an early lead. We're up 3-0 in the first period. Very little time in our own end. We managed pucks through the neutral zone. We were in attack mode, create turnovers off the forecheck, good discipline. It was just a lot of good habits on the offensive side of the puck, when to attack, when to play behind them, and defensively protecting the middle of the ice. I think we gave up one early chance to Hintz, and after that we were pretty good at forcing them to react to what we were doing. And then we kept it going for 60 minutes. I don't think we ever truly gave them a chance to get back in the game. Every team has a push, so they might have had a small one, but we tempered that quickly. So it's always for us trying to get that 60-minute game, and that was as close as we've been to it. And so we would like to get back to that every night. I'm sure Florida has a game in their back pocket they refer to. I don't know which one it is, but they're trying to get to that game, and so that'll be the challenge for us. And that's the one we've used as a measuring stick. We had a good one up in Edmonton as well, but that was a slower start, and we probably gave up a little more than we wanted to close that series out. But at the end of the day, we did a lot of things playing the right way.
Last question, left side, third row.
François Gagnon from RDS. Bruce, two quick questions. The first one is the sour taste that you were talking about last night gone this morning? And second of it, are you the type of coach to use examples of other things that you've done recently? Like you said, we will not talk about Florida Panthers, but could you talk about the Dallas Stars, where even though it's game 4 tomorrow, you're in the same situation as in game 6. You don't want them to come back and tie it up. Do you use those kind of things, or you let the leadership in the room take care of those situations?
Yeah, I mean, listen, the sour taste in terms of the immediateness of it is gone. It's time to turn the page and start preparing for Game 4. When we address the guys today, it'll be a little bit about what's in front of us, and not so much. When I was saying about the Florida Panthers, we're going to talk about, well, their forecheck, their F2 was, you know what I mean, that we're not getting into X's and O's today. It's more about big picture, where we're at. And yes, we'll refer back to maybe where we use experience from this playoffs. But it won't be a long message. It's not. Our guys, as I said, veteran guys, they know what today is for, and we've talked about that. We've been through this sort of routine enough to know they know this is an off day for them. So use it, you know, and however you need to get yourself ready for Game 4. That's all that's in front of us is, you know, being at our best for Game 4. So that's what we'll address today. Who's your favorite Montreal Expo, by the way?
I'll be the Gary Carter fan.
Gary Carter? Nice. Good call. Good call. All right.
Thank you, Bruce.
All right. Thank you.
We can take questions for William and Keegan. Front left.
Tracy Myers, NHL.com. William, this is for you. Just wondering what you've thought of special teams for you guys in this round against the Panthers compared to how both the power play and penalty kill were doing through the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, so far it's been pretty good, I'd say. PK has been very good, and you know, we've gotten some power play goals as well. So I'd say it's clicking right now.
Stay up front.
Ben Goetz, Las Vegas Regional. Keegan, you obviously had that big hit on Kachuk in the first period. I guess how much in the back of your mind was his hit on Jack in Game 2?
It's just playing hockey, taking the hit that's available there. He had the puck, he didn't see me. That was a prime opportunity to, create some momentum for us as a team on the road. That's what you got to do because the crowd's not going to help you out. Even though there's a lot of our fans out there, we can hear them at the start. The onus is on us to create our own momentum.
Right side, front row.
Steve Meyer, Associated Press. William, obviously you guys are still up 2-1 in the series, and kind of where does the confidence come from other things you've done in the series and other things you've done during this playoff run?
No, I think we've managed to stay composed throughout this playoffs. I never expected it to go super easy, and it should not be. To win is a grind, and sometimes you lose, but all that matters is the next game and focus on that. And I think we've done a great job throughout the playoffs to, after a loss, just stay composed and go on for the next game and try to win that one instead.
Stay on the right.
Nick Hotznick at NHL.com. That's a good segue to my question. First, real quick for each of you, after an overtime game last night, what time do you think you fell asleep?
4, maybe? 4, yeah, I'd say 4 for me.
Bill?
Yeah, 3:30 maybe.
So my point is, I've never been in your shoes. I've never played a 6-game regular season, 2 months of playoffs. This is not an injury question, but can you describe to me how you feel physically and mentally, and what don't people understand about what it's like to be a pro athlete doing what you're doing right now physically and mentally for each of you?
Well, if it was easy, everyone would do it, right? It's just the grind that comes with it. That's what makes it so rewarding at the end of the journey here, right? So we've grinded all year, grinded through playoffs, enjoyed every moment of it, going to keep enjoying it. And that's what makes the victory so sweet is, you go through this grind, you know how hard it is, and you know the rewarding feeling at the end of it.
Anything to add, Will?
No, I think we have a lot of fun with each other too, and it's fun to play hockey, so that helps it.
Right side, fourth row.
Jesse Granger with The Athletic for Will. To continue on the special teams theme, I feel like when in the Edmonton series you guys maybe changed the way you were killing penalties a little bit, being a little more aggressive and pressuring. How much did you learn from that series, and do you think that's helping you? Because it's obviously been a lot better since.
Yeah, I mean, we always try to adjust to what they're trying to do, and against Edmonton it was very hard. They were very skilled and good, but yeah, I'm sure we learned a few things, and but at the end of the day, it's us trying to adjust to what they're trying to do, and we've been doing a good job since then. You could say that was pretty good practice for Dallas and then Florida now. Yeah.
Right side in the back.
Kristen Sheldon with ESPN. Keegan, for you, you just talk about the grind of getting here. Your coach was just out here, said you don't have to change much after a loss, but how do you balance it when the stakes are highest of how do you come out and continue with the game you want to play, but then also make the right adjustments to get the outcome that you want?
Yeah, I think we'll just look at some film. It's, build off our positives from last game offensively, what we did well defensively, but also, we gave up 3 goals 5-on-5. That's not like us. It's that's something that we're going to have to clean up. We're not going to beat ourselves down on it. We know we'll be better from it next game, but there's just a little critiques that we could probably do to help ourselves out.
Left side, fourth row.
William Andrew-Argini, NHL.com International. First few rounds, obviously a lot of points on the score sheet for you. Just won in the first 3 games. Just wondering what you think of what you're taking from the first 3 games. Things magnified in the Cup Final, even though you're not getting the result on the score sheet. Just what you're taking from those first 3 games.
Yeah. Obviously, I wish I'd scored. I had a great opportunity last night as well. Yeah, it could be better for sure.
Any more questions for William and Keegan? There are no more questions. Okay, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Hi guys, good morning. Hey, can I? Thanks. Take questions for Braden and Michael. We'll start front left with Ben.
Ben Goetz, Las Vegas Regional. Braden, I guess just what's the approach in between games when you guys liked a lot of what you did yesterday, but you still didn't get the results you wanted?
Yeah, I thought we played a pretty good game. They got on late and, obviously got it in overtime. So we did a lot of good and we just build off that. And it doesn't matter how you lose. It could be 7-1. Lose in overtime like we did, we move on and focus on game 4.
Left side, second row.
Ken Bolke, Cinnamon, Vegas for Braden. You guys have been real good keeping them out of the front of the goal at 5-on-5. I'm wondering how different is it to keep them away from the front when they have the extra player with the empty net?
Yeah, it can be difficult. They're funneling a lot of pucks to the net, and they got guys who are pretty good around that front. It's about staying close, as close as you can, and a lot of bounces happen in there, and it's hard to control at times. But for the most part, we've done a pretty good job at it, and it's just area of the game that we got to focus on.
Right side, front row.
Nick Kotz, Nick at NHL.com. First for each of you, real quick. What time do you think you fell asleep last night, just with all the adrenaline and emotion after that game?
Yeah, not sure. Probably late, I guess. I don't have a time.
Yeah, it was not easy to get down after that one, so it was probably around 2 or something.
So this is not an injury question, but I'm just trying to put myself in your shoes. I've never been a pro athlete, never been an NHL player. After 6 months of regular season, 2 months of playoffs, how do you feel physically and mentally? Do you feel like an old man? Just what don't people understand about the grind?
I think day to day and game to game, it's all different. Depends how the game goes for your body. You're in such a routine of playing every other day almost, so your body and mind is used to that. You just do what you can to recover, eat properly, hot tub, cold tubs, whatever it is, treatment. It's a set time of year, so.
Yeah, for sure. I think it's an exciting time of the year. So some games are easy to get up for, but sometimes you might take a big hit or something. So the body might feel that. But like Naber said, I think just getting the right recovery, I think your body feels okay.
Right side in the back.
Kristen Shilton, ESPN. Bit of a follow-up on that, just for either or both of you. When you have, a day like this where you're not at the rink and you're just getting, your coach is here saying, you're not going over a lot of the X's and O's. I mean, do you appreciate that? Are you the type that would rather go over, the game in detail before another? How do you feel about a day like today of just where it's a bit more of the rest and regroup?
Yeah, it's nice to get a rest day for sure. I think all the guys can appreciate that and just take a day away from the rink. But we know how to get ready, and we'll be ready to go for tomorrow.
Left side, fourth row.
Andrew Ardini, NHL.com International. Michael, you got a good view of Carlson double-digit goals in the first several rounds, none in the first 3 games. Are you seeing anything that Florida's clamping down, or is it a matter of just chances not working out in the first 3?
No, I think he's had some looks in the first 3 games, so he's a great 200-foot player for us, and he works extremely hard, so I think it's just a matter of time before they go in for him.
Steve Arno, Associated Press. Michael, since you've come in, obviously Bruce hasn't made a whole lot of changes. You come in the lineup. How much confidence are you feeling right now in your game and kind of fitting into everything?
Yeah, I think it's easy when the guys are playing good, so it's easy to jump in and just try to contribute whatever I can to help.
Left side, second row.
Hi, Helene Elliott from the LA Times for Braden. Just wanted to ask you what it's like having Jonathan Quick around and what he's been like in the locker room. Obviously, he hasn't been playing lately, but I mean, is he helping out? Is he vocal? And just based on your experiences with him in the past.
He's been awesome. He's been an unbelievable teammate. He's one of those ultimate competitors. he's been great for our goalies, I think, and he's a guy who's won and been there, and he says the stuff at the right times, and it all makes sense. So, he's been unbelievable for our team and for our room, and when he's gone in, he's played well. So, that was a huge pickup.
Up front in the middle.
Paulo Dos Santos, NHL.com. Braden, how much has the D pairs just grown over this season? And seeing the growth in Nick and Zach, just overall, just how is the D pairs developing, and how are you guys doing this season?
Yeah, for the most part, we've all kind of been together all year. Zach and Nick have, they've stepped up huge in this playoffs, I think. They've been playing really well. They've been getting hard matchups, and they've been handling it really well, so that's good to see throughout the whole year. You have ups and downs as pairs and as players, but, for the most part in playoffs, we've been pretty dialed in, and, the depth helps where, any pair can really go out against anyone.
Right side on the third row.
Braden, this is for you. So you guys are still up 2-1 in this series. It's very close to 3-0, but now it's 2-1. They're feeling pretty good about themselves because they got a win in overtime and came back for it. Momentum swings. Do you guys still feel like you are in complete control of this series like you were before Game 2?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, we got a Game 4. We go and win Game 4. It's 3-1. That's a pretty big lead. So, they got a little momentum off winning last game, but it ends after the game, and both teams have a chance to regroup, and we know it's at stake for Game 4, and it's a big game for us.
Any more questions for Braden and Michael? There are no more questions. Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Thanks.
That concludes the Vegas media availability. The bus will leave as soon as everyone is ready to
You've been watching breaking news from the Las Vegas Review-Journal, sponsored by Michael Gaughan's South Point Hotel, Casino, and Spa.